while residing in Jagannath Mishra's house. One day, Sri Jagannath Mishra called his dear son Vishvambar and told him, "Bring my book." Nimai hastened to the house where he heard his father's call, and the ankle bells on his feet jingled loudly as he moved. Sri Jagannath Mishra inquired, "Where is the tinkling of ankle bells coming from?" Both he and his wife, Srimati Sachi Devi, searched all around. "My son does not wear ankle bells on his feet. Where does this sweet sound of ankle bells come from?" How extraordinary! The father and mother considered the incident but remained speechless with surprise. After bringing the book, the Lord ran off to play. The parents saw another wonder when they entered the house. All over the house they saw wonderful footprints with different symbols like the flag, lightning, goad, festoons, etc. Both were thrilled with great delight, and their eyes brimmed with tears as they examined the footprints. They offered obeisances to the lotus footprints and said, "We will be liberated. No more births." Sri Jagannath Mishra requested his wife, "Please listen, mother of Vishvarup, Lord Chaitanya's elder brother. Cook a nice sweet rice preparation with ghee. In the morning I shall bathe our house deity, Sri Damodar Shila, with Panchagavya, the 5 substances: cow milk, yogurt, ghee, cow urine, and cow dung. I believe that the sound of ankle bells actually came from the feet of the deity as he secretly moved around the house." Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata felt great happiness as they worshipped the Shalagram Shila, and Lord Chaitanya smiled within his mind. Here once again another wonderful pastime of Lord Chaitanya, the son of Sri Jagannath Mishra. A very pious Brahmin was visiting different places of pilgrimage to satisfy the Supreme Lord Krishna. He worshipped Lord Krishna by chanting the Gopal mantra, consisting of 6 syllables, and he did not eat anything other than the remnants of food offered to Lord Gopal. After visiting many pilgrimage sites, the fortunate Brahmin at last came to the house of Lord Chaitanya. As a person of incomparable purity, he was enveloped in a great spiritual effulgence. He carried Lord Gopal and Shalagram Shila around his neck as his most wonderful decorations. With half-closed eyes, the Brahmin constantly chanted Krishna, Krishna, and deep in his heart, he tasted the nectar of love of God. Seeing this shining personality, Jagannath Mishra stood up out of respect and then offered his obeisances. The most respectable Sri Jagannath Mishra did everything to properly look after his esteemed guest. He personally washed the guest's feet and offered him a fine elevated seat. Once the Brahmin was seated comfortably, Sri Jagannath Mishra inquired, "Where is your place of residence?" The Brahmin replied, "I am disinterested in worldly affairs, so I travel throughout different countries. It is only because of my restless mind that I roam." Sri Jagannath Mishra said respectfully, "It is the good fortune of the world that you travel everywhere. I especially feel most fortunate today, so please permit me to cook for you." The Brahmin replied, "Dear Mishra, do as you please." Happily, Sri Mishra made extraordinary and wonderful arrangements. Sri Mishra had the kitchen thoroughly cleaned and then arranged for all the ingredients for cooking to be brought. The Brahmin himself cooked to his full satisfaction and sat down to offer all the foodstuff to Lord Krishna. Sri Sachinandana Chaitanya is the supersoul within everyone's heart. He decided to show himself to the Brahmin. The Brahmin had just begun his meditation when the Supreme Lord, Sri Gaurasundar, appeared in his presence. He stood there naked, his entire form covered with dust. He was the color of the sun with beautiful hands and feet. Smiling, he took a handful of food from the Brahmin's offering and ate it while the Brahmin looked on. Although favored by good fortune, the Brahmin called out, "Alas, alas, this restless boy has stolen the food meant for offering." When Sri Jagannath Mishra came, he saw that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Gaurasundar, was happily smiling and eating rice. Intending to beat the Lord, an angry Mishra chased after him. But the Brahmin stood up fearfully and caught hold of Mishra's hand. The Brahmin said, "My dear Mishra, you are a respectable and knowledgeable person, but what knowledge does this little boy have? What will beating him accomplish? It is one thing to beat a person who can reason right from wrong, but I forbid you to beat this boy." Feeling miserable, Sri Mishra sat down holding his head. He did not speak a word, nor did he lift his head. "Do not feel sad, dear Mishra," said the Brahmin. "The Supreme Lord certainly knows everything that happens at all times. Please, bring whatever fruits or vegetables you have in the house. I shall simply eat that today." Sri Mishra said, "If you kindly consider me your servant, then let me arrange for you to cook again. I shall only be satisfied when you cook once again. I have all the necessary ingredients for cooking in the house." The other friends and relatives in the house also implored him to cook again. "Since you all desire it," agreed the Brahmin, "I shall cook every preparation again." Everyone was satisfied that he had agreed, and they cleaned the cooking place for him. They quickly gathered the cooking ingredients, and the Brahmin began to cook. Some people warned the Brahmin that the restless child might spoil the offering again. "Take the child to another house and keep him there until the Brahmin has completed his cooking and eating," they told Sachi Mata. Mother Sachi carried her child to a neighbor's house. The young ladies all teased, "Hey Nimai, is this the way you should act? Stealing the Brahmin's food?" With a smile on his exquisite moon-like face, Lord Chaitanya replied, "What is my fault? The Brahmin called me." But they objected. "O Nimai, will you do more mischief now that you have lost your caste? Who knows this Brahmin, where he comes from, or who his family is? How can you maintain your caste after having eaten food cooked by him?" Smiling, Lord Chaitanya replied, "I belong to the cow tender's caste. I accept food prepared by a Brahmin all the time. How does a cow tender lose his caste by eating a Brahmin's food?" Saying this, the Lord looked at everyone with a smile. The Supreme Lord, Sri Chaitanya, used this trick to explain to them the truth about himself. But his illusory potency is so perfect that no one could understand him. As they carried him around, the various residents of the neighboring houses enjoyed the child's arguments. The Lord went joyfully from arms to arms, and whoever held him floated in an ocean of bliss. In the meantime, the Brahmin cooked once again and sat down to make offering to Lord Balagopal. While offering, the Brahmin thought of Lord Balagopal, but Lord Gaurachandra, the Supersoul, knew everything. Lord Chaitanya charmed everyone and then left their presence completely unnoticed. Smiling all the while, he went to the spot where the Brahmin was offering his food. Stealthily, Lord Chaitanya put a handful of rice into his mouth and left. The Brahmin, caught by surprise, looked on in disbelief. The Brahmin raised a loud alarm. "Alas! Alas!" The child ate his rice and sprinted off. Sri Mishra angrily grabbed a stick and chased after young Nimai. Lord Nimai fled in dread and hid himself in a room. But Sri Mishra came after him, roaring in a fury. Sri Mishra said, "You shall see today. Act in this mischievous manner, will you? Although I am cultured and knowledgeable, you think I am a great fool." Sri Mishra continued, "In whose house can you find as big a thief as this?" With rising indignation, he chased after Nimai. The people in the house caught hold of Sri Mishra to dissuade him, but the angry father insisted. "Leave me. Today I shall beat him." They tried to reason with him. "Dear Mishra, you are known to be liberal. What superior intelligence will you display by beating him? His sense of discrimination between good and bad is still undeveloped due to his tender age, and only a very foolish person would beat such a small child. By nature, children are restless. It is not true that one can teach them by beating them." The pilgrim hurriedly rushed to the scene and caught hold of Sri Mishra's hand. "Respected sir, please hear me. The young boy is not at fault. Whatever is destined to occur on a certain day must happen. I am not destined to have Lord Krishna's rice offerings today. What I am saying is the confidential truth in this matter." Sri Jagannath Mishra hung his head in dejection, and because of his perturbed mind, he could not look at anyone. At that moment, Vishwarup, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the abode of spiritual effulgence, arrived on the scene. His entire form was so charming that no beauty in all the 14 worlds could match it. He stood there, an embodiment of all spiritual potencies, a Brahman's thread across his shoulders. He appeared as the identical expansion of Lord Nityananda himself. Vishwarup was always engaged in explaining the prime essence of all scriptures, devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. Enchanted by his exquisite form, the pilgrim Brahmin stared at him with a gaping mouth. "Who is the father of this extraordinary personality?" asked the Brahmin. "He is the son of Sri Mishra," came the reply. The Brahmin embraced Vishwarup in extreme joy, saying, "Virtuous are the parents of such a son." Sri Vishwarup sat down after offering obeisances to the Brahmin and began speaking nectarine words which flowed like a stream. The day turned auspicious, and the house was blessed with good fortune when you came as a guest, said Vishwarup. You are constant and happy within yourself. You travel everywhere simply to sanctify the earth. It is my immense fortune that I have a guest like your good self. But at the same time, I feel very unfortunate that you have to go without eating. If a guest in a house must fast, then that house will inevitably fall victim to aspersions and inauspiciousness. I received immense pleasure on seeing you, but it pained me greatly to hear about all that occurred here. The Brahmin said, Please do not feel sorry. I shall eat some fruits and vegetables. I am a forest dweller. I cannot get rice or cooked food in the forest, so I live mostly on fruits, roots, and vegetables. I seldom eat rice, only if it comes my way without my endeavoring for it. I feel I have eaten 1,000,000 times over, simply from the pleasure of seeing you. Please go and bring whatever you have in the house, fruits, vegetables, or offerings, and I will eat them now. An extremely depressed Sri Jagannath Mishra sat holding his head between his hand, not replying to anyone. Sri Vishwarup said, Sir, you are a magnanimous ocean of mercy, yet I feel hesitant to ask you something. Saintly persons by nature feel distressed at others' suffering and are always ready to expand others' feelings of joy. With a little endeavor, you can cook a nice offering for Lord Krishna. This will dispel all the miseries of my family today, and I will feel maximum pleasure and happiness." The Brahmin said, "I already cooked twice, yet Lord Krishna did not allow me to eat. So I can understand I am destined not to eat today. This is Lord Krishna's desire, so why should I make such an endeavor? One may have unlimited foodstuff in the house, but he can eat only if Lord Krishna allows. One may endlessly try for something, but if Lord Krishna does not desire it, he will be unsuccessful. It is now past 1:30 in the night, going on 2 o'clock. Is it appropriate to start cooking this late? Therefore, please do not make any arrangements for cooking. I will simply eat some fruits and vegetables." Sri Vishwarup replied, "There is nothing wrong with the time. Everyone will be pleased if you cook." Sri Vishwarup then caught hold of the Brahmin's feet, and everyone in the house entreated him to cook again. The Brahmin was charmed by Sri Vishwarup, and he agreed to cook. Everyone uttered Sri Hari's name in joy and cleaned the place for cooking. They cleaned quickly, and meanwhile the necessary ingredients for cooking were brought. The respected Brahmin then proceeded to cook, and everyone kept the child at a secure distance. Sri Mishra posted himself at the doorway of Nimai's room. "Tie the doors to the room from the outside so that he cannot escape," suggested someone. "Good, good," agreed Sri Mishra. "That is a good plan. Tie the doors from the outside and we will remain out here." The ladies inside Nimai's room said, "Don't worry, Nimai is fast asleep. There is nothing more he can do." The child was kept away in this manner, and in a short while the Brahmin finished cooking. That pious Brahmin then prepared an offering plate filled with the things he cooked. He sat down to offer everything to Lord Krishna through his meditation. Nimai, the son of Mother Sachi, knew everything because he is the supersoul within everyone's heart. He desired to appear before the Brahmin and reveal himself. By the Supreme Lord's will, Nimai enchanted everyone, and they slept effortlessly. Sri Sachinandana appeared in the place where the Brahmin was offering his rice to the Lord. When the Brahmin saw the young boy Nimai, he raised an alarm, but no one heard him because they were all in deep sleep. Nimai, the Supreme Lord, said, "O Brahmin, you are known to be a magnanimous soul. You called for me, so I came. Why should I be blamed for it? You chanted mantras to invoke me. You beckoned me. So I came to you. How could I resist? You incessantly meditate on me, so I decided to appear before you." At that moment, the Brahmin saw a wonderful sight. The Supreme Lord stood before him in his 8-handed form, holding in 4 of his hands the 4 symbols: conch shell, disc, mace, and lotus. With 2 other hands, he held butter and ate it, and with the last 2 hands, he played the flute. He saw the Lord's entire form decorated with gem-studded ornaments. His breast was marked with Lakshmi Devi's sign of Srivats, and the priceless Kaustubha jewel hung brilliantly with other precious gems in a necklace. His head was decorated with fresh forest flowers that circled his peacock feather. His rubicund lips, like the rising sun, set off his softly glowing moon-like face. His pink lotus petal pair of eyes smiled sweetly as his knee-length Vaijayanti flower garland and his exquisite shark-shaped earrings swayed delicately. His feet were like blossoming lotus flowers, decorated with gently tinkling gem-studded ankle bells. The luster from his delicate pearl-like nails dissipated the darkness. The Brahmin saw the place transformed immediately into Vrindavan Dham. The wonderful Kadamba trees became clamorous with the chirping of birds. Cowherd boys and girls roamed about on their own, and everything was exactly as he had seen it in his meditation. Overcome with ecstasy at seeing such an extraordinary display of opulence, the Brahmin fell unconscious. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Gaurasundar, who is an ocean of mercy, placed his transcendental hand on the Brahmin's body. He regained consciousness by the Lord's touch, but the Brahmin was still speechless and inert with overwhelming joy. Again and again he fell swooning to the ground, sometimes getting up and sometimes falling. He moved by great upsurges of spiritual emotion. Overcome by shivering, perspiration, and horripilation, he was unable to remain still. Tears flowed as freely as Mother Ganga. The Brahmin caught hold of the Lord's lotus feet and cried loudly for some time. Acknowledging the Brahmin's eagerness, the Supreme Lord Sri Gaurasundar spoke a few words with his enchanting smile. The Supreme Lord said, "O learned Brahmin, please listen. In many past lives, you were my servitor. You have always meditated on me. Therefore I came to show myself to you. In my previous incarnation, I appeared to you in the house of Maharaj Nanda in this self-same form, but you have forgotten. In my previous incarnation as Krishna, I appeared in Gokula Dham, and in that lifetime you were making pilgrimage to holy sites with sincere spiritual fervor. By divine arrangement, you came as a guest to Nanda Maharaj's house and offered me your foodstuff. In that encounter, we also exchanged affections, just as we are now. I ate your offering then, as I have done this time. You are my servant birth after birth, therefore I have appeared before you. No one other than my servants can see me as I am. I am entrusting these confidential topics to you. Do not reveal them to anyone. As long as my present incarnation remains on this earth, if you reveal my identity, I shall destroy you. I made my appearance where the congregational chanting of Lord Krishna's holy name has already begun, and I will initiate the propagation of that chanting throughout the world. I will freely distribute to every house the process of loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord, which is so fervently desired even by Lord Brahma and other elevated personalities. Remain with us for some time, and you will see many things, but you are strictly forbidden to describe them to anyone." The Supreme Lord Gaurasundar went back to his room after he showered his mercy on the Brahmin by giving him all assurance. He lay down like a child in his previous sleeping posture. No one was aware of anything because of the deep slumber caused by the Lord's mystic potency. The pious Brahmin was filled with great exhilaration after seeing the extraordinary pastimes of the Lord. He smeared that transcendental rice over his entire body and then ate it while crying incessantly in ecstasy. He danced, sang, laughed, and made loud roaring sounds while continuously shouting, "All glories to Lord Balagopal." The Brahman's loud roaring awakened the residents of the house, so he quickly restrained himself from further outbursts of spiritual emotions and cleaned his body. The Brahman ate without worry, and everyone was immensely pleased by this. The Brahman considered telling everyone what he knew. Let them know that the Supreme Lord is amongst them. That way they can all be liberated, he thought. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is desired by and offered prayers by Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, has now appeared in the family of a Brahmin. But the Brahmin remembered the Lord's instruction not to reveal anything to anybody. Afraid to disobey him, he did not speak to anyone. The Brahmin knew the Lord's real identity, but others were unaware that the Brahmin had this extraordinary knowledge. Happily, the Brahmin remained near the Lord. He begged alms from many different places, but each day he returned to see the Supreme Lord. Such wonderful pastimes of the Lord are revealed in the Vedic literatures. If one hears these topics, he receives the complete shelter of Lord Sri Krishna. The Adikanda is full of nectarian topics. It describes how the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, performed playful pastimes, acting as though he were a mere child. The Supreme Lord Gaurasundar is the crest jewel of the 14 worlds, and the Supreme Lord of the Vaikuntha planets, which lie beyond this material world. He is Lord Narayan, the husband of Lakshmi Devi. He is also Lord Ramachandra, the husband of Sita Devi. In Treta Yuga, Gaurasundar appeared as Lord Ram, with his younger brother Sri Lakshman, Lord Nityananda. He performed various extraordinary pastimes and killed the great demon, King Ravana. In Dwapara Yuga, he appeared as Lord Krishna with Sankarshan, Balaram. Performing many wonderful pastimes, they alleviated the weight of sin in the world. I, Vrindavan Das, offer this humble song at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Sri Nityananda Chandra Prabhu, who are my life and soul. The Vedas always glorify two supreme personalities, Lord Mukunda, Krishna, and Lord Anantashesh, Balaram. Know for certain that these two supreme personalities have now appeared as Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. Adi Leela, Chapter 6. Lord Gauranga, like the child Gopal Krishna, performed his playful pastimes in various ways. The time for his formal education approached. Fixing an auspicious day and an auspicious moment, Sri Mishra, the most elevated Brahmin, formally placed the writing chalk in the hand of his son. After a few days, the Sri Chudakarna ceremony, where young Brahmin boys shave their heads, leaving only a sika, was performed amidst all of Nimai's friends. The Karnabeta ceremony, which marked the beginning of Nimai's Vedic studies, was also observed. Everyone was amazed that Nimai could write down all the alphabet letters immediately on seeing them. Within 2 or 3 days, Nimai had learned all the conjunct letters, and he spent his time writing many different names of the Supreme Lord Krishna, like Rama, Krishna, Murari, Banamali, etc. He studied eagerly and wrote day and night. Narayan, the lord of the Vaikuntha planets, took the guise of the child Nimai and studied with the other children in Nadia. Only the most fortunate souls could see his wonderful pastime. The living entities became enraptured just hearing Nimai's sweet recitation of the Bengali alphabet. Whenever or wherever Lord Gaurasundar performed his extraordinary pastimes, they remained incomprehensible. If Nimai could not catch the bird he saw flying in the sky, then he wept bitterly and rolled in the dust. Sometimes he cried for the moon and stars in the heavens, and thrashed his arms and legs violently if he could not have them. At such times, everyone tried to pacify the child. Vishvarup would take him in his arms, but the child would refuse to be pacified. "Give, give," he would cry. The only remedy for Nimai's crying was kirtan of the names of Lord Hari. Everyone would clap their hands and chant Hari, Hari. Only then would Nimai forget his distress and become calm. The frequent chanting of Lord Hari's names for the pleasure of Nimai turned Sri Jagannath Mishra's house into the transcendental abode of Vaikuntha. One day the Lord continued to cry in spite of the loud chanting of Hari's name. Someone said, "My dear Nimai, come and dance nicely. We are singing Lord Hari's name." But Nimai continued to cry, not listening to anyone. "Speak, dear child. Why are you crying so much?" they asked him. "Dear child, tell us what you want. We will bring you whatever you like. Simply stop your crying." The Lord replied, "If you want to save my life, then quickly go to the houses of the 2 Brahmins, Jagadish Pandit and Hiranya Pandit. I am very attracted to the homes of these 2 pure devotees, and if I could eat their offerings, I would become healthy and calm, and I could behave normally." Nimai's request was impossible. What he wanted was neither practiced among men nor sanctioned in the scriptures. Mother Sachi felt distressed. Everyone smiled at his childish words and promised, "We will give you whatever you want, child, but now stop crying." Jagadish Pandit and Hiranya Pandit were topmost Vaishnava devotees and inseparable friends of Sri Jagannath Mishra. When they heard Nimai's request, they were filled with joy. The 2 Brahmin Vaishnavas said, "This is a very extraordinary story. We have never seen such an intelligent child. How could he know that today was Ekadasi and that a large variety of food had been offered to the Lord? Now we understand the child's exquisite beauty. Lord Gopal Krishna must be residing in him. The Supreme Lord Narayan acts through this boy. Sitting in his heart, the Lord prompts Nimai to speak in amazing ways." The 2 Vaishnava Brahmins decided to give all the offerings to Nimai, and they took everything to his house with great delight. "Eat these offerings we have made to the Lord," they told Nimai. "Our desire to satisfy Lord Krishna will thus be fulfilled." Only by Krishna's mercy can one develop the spiritual intelligence to perform devotional service. Other than the Lord's servant, no one possesses such intelligence. Only through devotional service can the Supreme Lord, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, be known as he is. The entire cosmic manifestation has emanated from the pores of the hair of his body. The Lord's eternal servants, Jagadish and Hiranya Pandit, saw to their full satisfaction how the Supreme Lord, as a Brahmin child, performed transcendentally playful pastimes. The Lord happily received all the offerings from his devotees, and he tasted a little something from every preparation. Smiling with pleasure, Lord Nimai ate Krishna's offering, and all of his unusual whims were appeased. Everyone in the house sang, "Hari, Hari," and the Lord ate and danced to the chanting of his own name. Nimai dropped some of the food on the ground, and some got smeared on the other family members. In this way, the Lord of the universe, the controller of the threefold miseries, performed his transcendental pastimes. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is described in all the Vedas and Puranas, played like a child in Mother Sachi Devi's courtyard. As he grew, Nimai became totally absorbed in the restless mood of a young boy, with the other restless young sons of the Navadvip Brahmins. No one could restrain him, and he wandered freely with his friends. Upon meeting another young boy, Nimai would poke fun at him, and the boy would return the taunts until a quarrel broke out. Nimai and his friends always won such quarrels because Nimai was more powerful. The opponents inevitably went away defeated. How enchanting Nimai looked, with his body covered in grayish dust and speckled with drops of black writing ink. After finishing their studies each day at noon, Nimai and his friends went to bathe in the Ganga, amusing themselves all the while. Diving in the waters of the Ganga, Nimai and his friends challenged one another by splashing. Who can describe Nadia's opulence in those days? Hundreds of people gathered in a bathing place on the river. It was impossible to keep track of the number of different people who came to the bathing place. Renunciates in saffron robes, householders, peaceful gentlemen, children, etc. came there to bathe. The Lord performed wonderful water sports with his friends, sometimes floating with the currents of the Ganga. Using the excuse of water sports, Nimai splashed water from his divine lotus feet on whoever was near him, thus showering his grace upon them. People warned Nimai not to be so mischievous, but he paid no heed. Nor could anyone catch him, as he was the swiftest swimmer. Nimai forced everyone to bathe several times by contaminating them, by touching them after their bath, or sometimes by spitting on them. Unable to catch Nimai to rebuke him, the enraged Brahmins stormed off to his father. "Dear Mishra, my good friend," one gentleman said, "please listen well. I have come to complain about your son's misconduct. He does not allow us to perform our daily ablutions in the Ganga properly." Another man complained, "He splashes water on us and disturbs our meditation." Furthermore, Nimai says, "Who are you meditating on? Just look at me. In this Kali Yuga, I am directly Lord Narayan himself." They all came with different complaints. One man said, "He stole my Shiva Linga deity." Another said, "He ran away with my outer clothes." Still another reported, "I prepared for Lord Vishnu's worship and collected in one place different ingredients like flowers, durva grass, sandalwood, and a seat for Lord Vishnu. When I went for my bath, Nimai sat on Lord Vishnu's seat, ate the offering, and threw the other ingredients away." Then Nimai said, "Why do you feel so sad? The Lord of your worship has himself eaten your offering." The people continued to complain. One Brahmin said, "I stepped into the water to recite my Gayatri mantra, and from nowhere Nimai came under the water and pulled me away by my feet." Another said, "My clothes and flowers are invariably taken away." Yet another said, "He steals my Bhagavad Gita scripture." Another exasperated voice added, "My son is very young. Nimai puts water in his ears and makes him weep miserably." Someone else complained, "He sneaks around to my back and climbs onto my shoulders shouting, 'I am Mahesh,' and then jumps down." Another complained, "He sits on my seat of worship and eats all my offerings. Then he performs worship of Lord Vishnu. He throws sand at anyone who has finished bathing, and all the other restless, mischievous boys join him. One of his worst tricks is that while the women and men are bathing, he mixes up their clothes, and when they want to dress, they become quite disturbed." Dear Jagannath Mishra, you are a generous and friendly gentleman, but I tell you, your son Nimai does this sort of mischief every single day. He remains in the water well past 2 in the afternoon, teasing everyone that comes for their bath. How do you expect him to maintain his health? In the meantime, many angry young girls from the neighborhood approached Sachi Devi. They arrested Sachi Devi with serious complaints. "Please hear from us, respected mother, about your son's misdeeds. He steals our clothes and uses awfully abusive language with us. When we try to correct his speech, he splashes water on us and starts quarreling. We bring fruits and flowers to the Ganga to follow our religious observances, but he scatters and spoils everything. He waits for us to finish our ablution and then throws sand on us. Your son Nimai stealthily comes from behind us and suddenly shouts loudly into our ears, mortifying us. Nimai spat a mouthful of water right into my face and threw these okada seeds in my hair. They do not come off so easily." Yet another voice complained, "Nimai says he wants to marry me." "Every day he behaves in this manner. Do you think your son is a prince?" they inquired. "Everything your son Nimai does is exactly what Nanda Maharaj's son Gopal Krishna did a long time ago. We have heard stories of Krishna. If we report all these complaints to our parents, they will surely quarrel with you. You should immediately correct your young son. His conduct is certainly not well received in a town like Nadia." With a smiling face, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mother embraced each girl and spoke comforting words to them all. "When Nimai returns home today, I will beat him and bind him up so that he can never again go out and tyrannize anyone." All of them respectfully took the dust from Sachi Devi's feet on their heads and proceeded to the Ganga to take their baths again. Regardless of how everyone suffered due to Nimai's mischief, each person felt great satisfaction in his presence. The supreme controller of everyone and everything, Sri Gauranga, knew that Sri Mishra was looking for him in a state of rage. Lord Sri Gaurasundar continued to perform his wonderful water sports. Amongst all the boys, he was the most charming. The young maidens took pity on Nimai and said, "Listen, Vishvambar, your angry father is coming in this direction. Right now, escape." Sri Mishra searched for Nimai, playing amongst his friends, while all the Brahmin maidens ran away in fear. Nimai had already instructed his friends that when his father inquired about his whereabouts, they should say, "Your son did not come for his bath with us. He went back home after class. In fact, we ourselves are waiting for him." Nimai returned to his house by another road, and Sri Mishra arrived at the bathing place on the Ganga. Sri Mishra looked everywhere, but could not find Nimai amongst the group of boys. "Where did Vishvambar go?" inquired Jagannath Mishra angrily. The young boys replied, "Today he never came for his bath. He returned home on his usual road after class. We are all waiting for him." Sri Mishra continued to search for Nimai, but unable to find him, he stood fuming with rage. Those Brahmins who had earlier made complaints against Nimai, just for some fun, now came to Sri Mishra and said, "Vishvambar ran home out of fear. We will accompany you home, lest you do anything to him that will later be regretted. If Nimai does this sort of mischief again, then we ourselves will catch him and bring him to you. All those complaints we made about Nimai at your residence were simply out of fun. Actually, your good fortune is unmatched in all the three worlds. Nimai is such a pleasing son that the members of his family are never touched by hunger, thirst, sorrow, or other material sufferings. Your son is the Supreme Eternal Lord. You are truly very fortunate to be able to serve his lotus feet. We will always keep Vishvambar's memory in our hearts, even if he commits countless offenses." The personalities of Nadia were eternal devotees and associates of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. For this reason, they were endowed with superior intelligence, required to render transcendental devotional service to the Lord. The Supreme Lord performed various transcendental pastimes with his intimate servitors. A mundane person cannot understand such activities of the Lord. Sri Mishra said, Nimai is a son to all of you. If you should take difference to his offense, then I am bound to you by oath. I beg your forgiveness. Sri Mishra warmly embraced everyone and returned home feeling greatly satisfied. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishvambar, had gone home by another road. Shining brightly like the moon, he carried beautiful books in his hands. Blotches of writing ink on different parts of Nimai's body appeared like decorations on his golden complexion. It looked as though a sweet-smelling golden champak flower had attracted a swarm of black bumblebees. Lord Nimai called out, Mother, give me oil. I want to go for my bath. Mother Sachi's heart gladdened. She could not detect any sign that Nimai had taken a bath. Giving Nimai the oil, Sachi Devi thought, what did the Brahmins and the young maidens say about Nimai? His whole body is spotted with ink blotches. He has the same clothes on that he wore to school. Jagannath Mishra arrived home at that moment, and Vishvambar climbed on his lap. Sri Mishra lost all external mundane perceptions in the Lord's loving embrace. He bubbled over with happiness at the sight of his son. Sri Mishra saw that Nimai was covered with dust, and there were no signs of his having taken a bath. Sri Mishra was truly amazed. Sri Mishra said, Vishvambar, what sort of intelligent boy are you, that you do not allow people to take their baths in peace? Why do you steal and disturb the arrangements people make for worshipping Lord Vishnu? You know who Lord Vishnu is, so why do you act like this without any fear? But today I have not yet gone for my bath. All my friends have gone ahead of me, replied Nimai. All these people are behaving improperly towards me, although I have not been near them. They falsely accuse me of being at fault. If they continue to find fault and falsely accuse me, then I will actually misbehave and create trouble for them. The Lord smiled and left for the Ganga, where he met again with all his friends. Nimai's friends embraced him and laughed merrily when they heard his witty story. They all praised him, saying, You were very clever, Nimai. You nicely saved yourself from a good beating today. Nimai was once again engrossed in water sports with his friends, while back at the house, Mother Sachi Devi and Sri Mishra seriously considered certain points. All the complaints brought against Nimai were certainly not lies, yet there was no indication that Nimai had taken a bath. Everything was just as it should be. His body was covered with dust, he was dressed in the same clothes, and they were dry. His hair was also dry, and he had his books. I think our Vishvambar is not an ordinary person, said Sri Mishra. Perhaps the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, by his internal potency, has appeared in our house as our son. Or perhaps Nimai is some great saintly personality. I am at a loss to know. Sri Mishra, the jewel-like Brahmin, pondered the matter seriously. Sri Jagannath Mishra and Mother Sachi Devi felt so happy to see their son that all their cogitations vanished. Their hearts filled with tender affection for Nimai, and nothing else mattered to them. Both of them felt their son's absence intensely. Nimai's 2 hours of study seemed like 2 yugas to his parents. If the Vedas were to describe the great fortunes of Mother Sachi Devi and Sri Mishra in countless varieties of ways, and with innumerable mouths, that fortune would still remain inconceivable. I offer countless obeisances at the lotus feet of Mother Sachi Devi and Sri Mishra, who received the Supreme Lord and Controller of the limitless cosmic manifestation as their son. The Lord of Vaikuntha, Lord Vishvambar, performed wonderful pastimes in a pleasing manner. No one could perceive these transcendental activities because of the influence of the Supreme Lord's spiritual energy. I, Vrindavan Das, offer this humble song at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Sri Nityananda Chandra Prabhu, who are my life and soul. Adi Leela, Chapter 7. All glories to Lord Gaurachandra, who is the Supreme Lord of Lords. All glories to Sri Vishvambar and his dearmost devotees. All glories to the illustrious son of Sri Jagannath Mishra and Mother Sachi Devi. He is the life and soul of all surrendered devotees. O Lord Vishvambar, please glance upon us mercifully and deliver us all. Using the pretext of mirthful, childish pastimes, Lord Gaurasundar expanded his unlimited spiritual forms and his transcendental devotional service in Navadvip Dham. The restless Nimai tirelessly created mischief with everyone, though his mother tried to correct him with sweet advice. He paid not the slightest attention. In the presence of good instruction, he created twice as much mischief. Whatever he could reach in the house, he would gleefully smash. Out of apprehension, the parents at last refrained from giving any further instructions. The unrestrained Nimai played at will, displaying his wonderful pastimes. The descriptions of Nimai in Adikanda are like nectar to the ears. The wonderful childhood pastimes of the Supreme Lord Narayan are described there. The Lord feared no one, not his father nor mother, but in the presence of his elder brother Vishvarup, he became soft and humble. Sri Vishvarup, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was the treasure house of all divine qualities and a renunciate from his very birth. Vishvarup explained that the essence of all scriptures was the path of devotional service to the Supreme Lord. No one has ever had the power to refute his explanations. He was totally absorbed in Lord Krishna, and by engaging his hearing, speech, mind, and all other senses in the service of the Lord, he grew disinterested in anything else. While contemplating Nimai's unusual behavior, Vishvarup was filled with wonder. This young boy is not an ordinary mundane personality. His beautiful form and extraordinary behavior makes me think he is Lord Balagopal. I have seen him perform continuous superhuman activities, but I personally believe it is actually the Supreme Lord Krishna who enacts these pastimes in the body of this child. The magnanimous Vishvarup pondered this matter for some time, but did not reveal his realization to anyone, preferring to remain engrossed in his own service. Vishvarup was always found in the association of pure Vaishnava devotees, discussing topics about Krishna, engaging in Krishna's service, or worshipping the Lord in devotion. People of the world have always been mad after mundane life, wealth, children, education, etc. When the materialistic people of Nadia would see the Vaishnava devotees, who were naturally disgusted with material life, they would taunt them. The materialists composed verses and recited them whenever they saw a Vaishnava. The renounced sannyasis, the chaste ladies, and the yogis performing austerity will all have to die. Then why their futile endeavor? By our standard, a fortunate person has the means to ride on a horse or be carried on a palanquin with 10 to 20 persons running in front and behind him. You drench yourselves with tears of spiritual emotions while singing to your Lord. Yet we do not see any sign of your poverty and misery being alleviated. Your Lord will surely become angry if you continue to call out Hari, Hari so loudly and so often. The Lord's pure devotees felt sorry for the atheistic people who were devoid of devotion, and therefore spoke in an offensive manner. In every direction the devotees saw people burning in the fire of material existence. Nowhere could they hear the kirtan of Lord Hari's names. Sri Vishvarup in particular felt great anguish over the absence of kirtan of the name of his beloved Krishna Chandra. If ever Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam discourses were held, the speaker could never explain the privileges of devotional service to Lord Krishna, which was the real essence of those scriptures. The teachers destroyed themselves by perverting the meaning of the scriptures and speculating on the conclusion. Devotional service is unknown to such a materialistic society. Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu and other Vaishnava devotees were overcome with pity and sorrow for the unfortunate living entities who were afflicted by perverted conceptions of life. Sri Vishwarup was depressed by the environment and said to himself, "I do not like to see the sinful faces of the people of this materialistic society. I will go live in the forest." Each day at dawn, after a bath in the Ganga, Sri Vishwarup would visit the house of Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu. Sri Acharya Prabhu used to roar in delight when he heard Sri Vishwarup explain that the essence of all scriptures was the process of devotional service to Lord Krishna. He would leave aside his regular worship just to hear Sri Vishwarup's discourses, and the assembled Vaishnavas would exclaim, "Hari, Hari," in appreciation of the discussion. The devotees roared like lions in the ecstasy of Krishna consciousness and felt the heavy burden of gloom lift from their hearts. On such days, no one wanted to leave Vishwarup's association, nor could he separate himself from the devotees. One day, when Mother Sachi had completed her cooking, she told Sri Vishvambar to bring his elder brother home to eat. Bearing that instruction, Lord Vishvambar ran to Sri Advaita Acharya's residence to retrieve his brother. At the Acharya's house, he saw the assembly of Vaishnavas discussing the most auspicious topics of Krishna Lila. Sri Gaurasundar, who is Lord Krishna himself, felt satisfied to hear the devotees glorify him, and he captivated them with his glances. Every line of the Lord's transcendental form seemed to defy the extremities of delicate beauty. The radiance of millions upon millions of moons lost their luster when compared to the effulgence of even one of the Lord's fingernails. Bare-chested and covered with dust, Vishvambar smiled and addressed his elder brother. "Brother, come to eat. Mother is calling you." He caught hold of Vishwarup's dhoti, and together they walked home. Sri Vishvambar's enchanting beauty held the devotees in a trance. They stared at him in wonder, unable to move. The devotees entered into meditation, experiencing the ecstasy of love of Godhead. Even the discussions on Krishna could not be continued. The materialistic person is unable to comprehend the Lord's transcendental activities of attracting and alluring the hearts of his devotees. This mystery was revealed in the Srimad Bhagavatam, where the matchless message of Shukadeva Goswami was given to Maharaj Parikshit. In a previous millennium, this Sri Gaurasundar appeared in Gokula as Krishna. He roamed about in different houses, enacting his childhood pastimes in the company of other children. The cowherd ladies of Gokula were more fond of baby Krishna than of their own sons. Although the gopis did not understand that Lord Krishna was the Supreme Lord, they naturally felt more affection for him than for their own sons. King Parikshit was amazed by Shukadeva Goswami's unequivocal answers to his questions, and he listened in rapt ecstasy. "O Shukadeva Goswami, what you have revealed to me has never before been heard in the entire universe. It is certainly the most extraordinary topic. Just see how they loved Krishna, the child of another woman, more than their own sons." Srila Sukadeva Goswami replied, "O King Parikshit, the Supreme Personality is perceived as the Super Soul, existent in the hearts of every living entity. He is the most beloved Lord of the heart. When the soul leaves the body of the son, wife, friend, or relative, the family members have the body taken away from the house in a matter of moments. Therefore, it is the super soul, which is the life of every living entity, That Supersoul is none other than Sri Nandanandana, Krishna. Because of the inherent characteristics of the Supersoul, Lord Krishna is able to attract the affection of the gopis. This fact is applicable only to the devotees, for a non-devotee can never feel affection for the Lord. Lord Krishna resided within the heart of Kamsa and other demons, so why were they envious and inimical towards him? The reason was that these demons had committed grievous offenses in their previous lives. Everyone agrees that the sweetness of sugar is easily discernible. Only a diseased person will find its taste bitter. The tongue is diseased. It is not the fault of the sugar. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Chaitanya, is the sweetest of all. Everyone saw the Lord in Navadvip, yet no one besides the devotees recognized him. Wherever he wandered in Navadvip, Nimai captivated the hearts of the devotees while performing his wonderful pastimes. On the day that Vishvambara came to call his brother home, he enchanted the hearts of the Vaishnavas. The magnanimous Advaita Mahashaya thought, "This boy is certainly not an ordinary mundane personality." "I cannot determine what substance this boy is made of," said Advaita to the assembled devotees. The devotees simultaneously glorified his extraordinary beauty. Sri Vishvarup returned home briefly and then went straight back to Sri Advaita Acharya's house. Enjoyments of material life had no attraction for Sri Vishvarup. He experienced joy only in singing the glories of Lord Krishna. In his own house, Sri Vishvarup spent all his time in the Vishnu Griha, a room set aside for Shalagram Shila. He was unfamiliar with the ways of familial dealing. His parents were eager to have him married, but when he heard their plans, he grew morose. He was consumed by only one thought: "I will leave my family and go to the forest." The Supreme Lord alone is able to know his own inclinations. Thus, Sri Vishvarup, the Supreme Lord, took the renounced order of sannyas within a few days of that time. With the name Sri Shankara Aranya, which would become famous throughout the universe, that foremost Vaishnava set out on the eternal path. Sri Vishvarup's disappearance left the hearts of Mother Sachi and Sri Mishra in intense grief. With the other family members and friends, the parents wailed in lamentation. Sri Vishvambara was unable to bear the separation of his brother, and he fell unconscious. I am unable to depict the scene of intense grief and lamentation which struck the house of Sri Mishra. Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu and all the other devotees shed profuse tears in the unbearable separation from Sri Vishvarup. People from all classes of Nadia society were moved with grief when they heard the news of the boy's sannyas. Their hearts broken with sorrow, Mother Sachi and Sri Mishra continuously called out, "Vishvarup, Vishvarup." Sri Jagannath was overwhelmed with the throbbing pains of separation from his son, and his friends and relatives tried to console him. "Dear Mishra, please compose yourself. Do not feel sad. This magnanimous personality has delivered your entire family. If any member in the family takes the sannyas order of life, then innumerable generations become eligible to live in the transcendental abode of Vaikuntha. The course of action your son adopted is certainly the perfection of all education. We should express our great happiness for you," they said, as they held the feet and hands of the afflicted parents. Think about Vishvambara. He is the glory of your family. This son of yours will be the scion of the entire family line. He will eliminate all your sufferings. What is the need to have countless millions of sons when you have a son like this one? Friends and relatives tried to make Sri Mishra understand his fortunate position. They offered good counsel, but failed to mitigate his misery. Mishra Mahashaya tried to control his emotion, but as soon as he remembered the wonderful qualities of Sri Vishvarup, he again lost himself in bereavement. "I could never know for certain whether this son would stay with me or not," said Sri Mishra. "The Supreme Lord Krishna gave me the child, and he himself took him back. Whatever Lord Krishna desires must certainly occur. The infinitesimal living entities possess but insignificant power over life's phenomena. I therefore surrender my body, senses, and everything to you, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Omnipotent Lord. You are my shelter." Exerting true wisdom and established in knowledge of the Absolute, Mishra Mahashaya gradually composed his disturbed mind. In this way, Sri Vishvarup enacted the pastime of leaving his house and accepting sannyas. He is the non-different direct expansion of Lord Nityananda, the original Sankarshan. Whoever hears the pastime of Sri Vishvarup accepting the sannyas order of life is freed from the noose of karma and attains devotional service to Lord Krishna. The devotees experienced mixed feelings over Sri Vishvarup's sannyas. They were caught between elation and depression. Lord Krishna has taken from us the only saintly Vaishnava association we had. With Sri Vishvarup, we discussed topics of Krishna consciousness, but now he is gone. We should also leave everything and go to the forest, where we no longer have to see the faces of this sinful society. The entire population is engrossed in reprobate activities. How long is one supposed to tolerate insults inflicted by the vile words of atheists? Nowhere is the holy name of Lord Krishna uttered. The entire world is inviting its doom, drowning itself in illusory, sense-gratifying activities. And when the unequivocal process of devotional service to Lord Krishna is explained to the atheists, they reject it and ridicule us. "What happiness have you gained by worshipping Krishna?" they demand. "You live in an improvised condition. You beg even for your food, and your misery continuously increases." The devotees uttered long sighs and agreed that they were no longer capable of living in that degraded society. They wanted to go off to the forest. Advaita Mahashaya consoled each devotee, saying, "You will certainly meet with the highest of bliss." I feel a great exhilaration in my heart, as though Lord Krishna Chandra has made his divine appearance. Go and happily sing Lord Krishna's holy name. In a few days, you will see our beloved Lord Krishna right here. Lord Krishna will perform many pleasurable pastimes assisted by all of you. Only then will I, Advaita, become an unalloyed servitor of Lord Krishna. That rare mercy, which is seldom experienced by Srila Sukadeva Goswami or Prahlad Maharaj, will be received by all of you. Inspired by the nectarian words of Srila Advaitacharya Prabhu, the devotees sang the name of Hari jubilantly. As the devotees roared with the repetition of Lord Hari's name, their hearts became filled with happiness. Lord Gaurasundar was busy playing with his friends when the sound of Lord Hari's name reached his house. When he arrived in the midst of the devotees, they inquired, "What brings you here, dear child?" And Nimai replied, "Why did you call for me?" With his troop of young friends, Nimai then took off at a run. No one could grasp Lord Vishvambar's real identity due to the influence of his transcendental, illusory potency. From the day Sri Vishvarup left the house to become a sannyasi, Lord Vishvambar minimized his restless and mischievous behavior. Nimai stayed by the side of his mother and father to mitigate their grief and separation from Vishvarup. He restrained himself from playing, and while studying, he would not leave his books for a moment. After studying any aphorism once, Nimai mastered it so well that when questioned on it, he bettered everyone else. Because of Nimai's extraordinary intelligence, people praised his parents, saying, Sri Mishra and Sachi Mata are truly blessed. And to Jagannath Mishra they said, Dear Mishra, you are truly successful to have such an illustrious son. There is not another child in all the three worlds to match Nimai's superior wisdom. He will excel even Sri Brahaspati in erudition. He can present his own spontaneous explanations on any point, but no one is able to defeat his deceptive arguments. Mother Sachi was happy to hear about her son's wonderful attributes, but Sri Mishra felt morose once again. This son of ours will never remain involved in household life, Sri Mishra told Sachi Mata. Vishwarup studied the scriptures just as Nimai is doing now. He understood that there isn't a shred of reality in material existence. Knowing the essence of all scriptures, our wise Vishwarup rejected transient material life and went away. If Nimai also learns all the scriptures, he will certainly follow the same path. Nimai is all that is left to us. He is our very life. If we lose him, we will certainly leave our bodies. Therefore, he should no longer study. He can be an illiterate child and remain in the house. Mother Sachi argued, How will he maintain his life if he remains illiterate? Moreover, no one will give their daughter in marriage to an illiterate person. But Sri Mishra replied, Surely you must be the naive daughter of a Brahmin. You should know that Lord Krishna, who is everyone's protector, has created everything. He will give and take whatever is required. The entire material creation is maintained by the Lord of the universe, Krishna. Who has misinformed you that mere materialistic knowledge can help maintain anything? Lord Krishna is in complete control of everything. He even designs the results of the matching of brides and grooms. Both the learned groom as well as the illiterate groom are given brides. Lord Krishna is omnipotent and he maintains everyone. Whatever you see as lineage or formal education, etc., are simply semblances of reality. Why don't you take me as an example standing right here in front of you? I possess sufficient learning, yet there is insufficient food in my house. There are persons who cannot even pronounce the alphabets properly, yet see for yourself the thousands of scholars who crowd their doorsteps. Hence, it is not formal education or other material qualifications that maintain us. Rather, it is Lord Krishna who keeps and maintains everyone. When one has never worshipped the lotus feet of Lord Govinda, how is it possible for him to live in comfortable opulence and meet death in a blissful state? By rendering devotional service to Lord Krishna, we suffer from the pangs of poverty, but we embrace death in a happy state. This is not the case for one who depends on his material knowledge and wealth. A person may possess sufficient learning, high birth, and enormous wealth, but without the mercy of Lord Krishna, he can never be delivered from the misery of material life. A person may live amidst fine sense enjoyment and opulence, but Lord Krishna may also allot him some incurable disease, causing him much misery. Such a person cannot really revel in sense pleasure. He burns with frustration, and I would say he is more miserable than a penniless derelict. Take note from this. All is but naught. In spite of his having great material wealth, one's future is determined entirely by Lord Krishna's desire. Do not bother yourself thinking about your son's maintenance. I can assure you that Lord Krishna will look after him. As long as there remains life in my body, Nimai will not feel even the slightest sign of suffering. We all have Lord Krishna as our only shelter. Why should you worry when you are a good mother and a chaste and dedicated wife? I impress upon you that there is no need for Nimai's studies. Let my son remain in the house as an illiterate. Having made his decision, Sri Mishra called his son and announced, Nimai, I promise you that from today you are relieved of all studies. You may do as you like. Whatever you desire, my son, I am ready to provide. Just stay in the house and be fully satisfied. Sri Mishra left to attend to other business, and the Supreme Lord Vishvambar could understand that his studies had been discontinued. As the spring of eternal religious principles, Sri Gauranga was obedient to his father's instruction and did not attend school. But the Lord was disappointed and once again took to his restless, impetuous ways with other young boys his age. Both in his own house and in the neighbors' houses, Nimai smashed or squandered away whatever he found within reach. Even after dark, Nimai remained away from home. The whole evening he performed various pastimes with the other young boys. Covering themselves with a blanket so they looked like a bull, Nimai and another friend moved around in a most amusing manner. During the day, they had seen a small backyard banana plantation, and at night, dressed in their bull costume, they plundered the banana trees. The owner of the house raised a loud alarm when he saw the bull in his garden, but by the time a crowd was awake to remedy the situation, Nimai and his friends had already escaped. Sometimes they tied the neighbors' doors from the outside, so that they could not leave the house to use the outdoor lavatory. When the people inside the house made a commotion, Nimai would run off. Day and night, the Lord of Vaikuntha and his friends performed endless pranks. There was no limit to Lord Vishvambar's mischievous deeds, yet Sri Mishra never corrected him. One day, Sri Mishra was called away on some duty, and Nimai felt angry because he was not allowed to study. The pots used for cooking Lord Vishnu's offerings were kept outside in a pile for cleaning. Nimai decided to sit on top of those contaminated pots. Kindly listen with undivided attention to this confidential incident. Devotional service to Lord Krishna is perfected by sincerely hearing this story. Sitting on the pile of contaminated pots as if it were a royal throne, Sri Gaurasundar glanced around with a smile playing on his lips. His golden complexion was spotted by the black soot from the contaminated pots. He looked like a golden doll smeared by dark, sweet-smelling sandalwood and aguru paste. Several friends went to Mother Sachi and informed her, Nimai is sitting on top of the contaminated pots. Mother Sachi was shocked when she saw him. My dear child, this is not a proper place to sit, she scolded. Can you not judge between clean and unclean things after all these years? Don't you know that one must bathe after touching unclean pots? Lord Nimai retorted, You do not allow me to study. How do you expect me to know the differences between clean and unclean? I am just an illiterate Brahmin. I am an uneducated fool with no idea of what is clean or unclean. I see oneness in everything. My vision is non-dual. After his speech, Nimai smiled from atop his seat of unclean pots. At that moment, he manifested the mood of Lord Dattatreya, Krishna's incarnation as the son of Atri. His mother replied, Now that you have sat in a dirty place, how are you going to clean yourself? But Lord Vishvambar replied, Mother, you have an extremely childlike mentality. I am never situated in a contaminated place. Wherever I am, that place becomes most sanctified. Ganga Devi and all other places.
Govinda, Hare Krishna, Venugopalantam Arabinda Dharacharasam Bhagavatam Samasitam Purushonarayam Kanda Bhavati Kamaniya Vishisasudaya Govinda Hare Krishna Namajami Govinda Hare Krishna Namajami Govinda Hare Krishna Namajami Angani Asya Sakale Dhira Manti Prasham Chika Chikayanti Chirayanti Ananda Chimaya Sadhu Vala Vigrasya Govinda Hare Purusha Bhajamani 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 Jai Govinda, Jai Gopal, Kesava Madhava Dinadaya. Jai Govinda, Jai Gopal, Kesava Madhava Dinadaya. Jai Govinda, Jai Gopal, Kesava Madhava Dinadaya. Jai Govinda, Jai Gopala, Kesava Madhava Dinadaya. Dinadaya Prabhu Dinadaya, Dinadaya Prabhu Dinadaya. Dinadaya Prabhu Dinadaya, Dinadaya Prabhu Dinadaya. Aju Dinadaya Prabhu Dinadaya, Dinadaya Prabhu Dinadaya. Dinadaya Prabhu Dinadaya, Dinadaya Prabhu Dinadaya. Aishama Sangha Anuyaya Girivardhari Nanda Dula Shama Sundara Anandaya Girivardhari Nanda Dula Shama Sundara Anayaya Girivardhari Nanda Dula Ajinanda Dula Prabhu Nanda Dula Nanda Dula Prabhu Nanda Dula.
Nanda Dula Prabhu Nanda Dula. Nanda Dula Prabhu Nanda Dula.
Nanda Dula Prabhu Nanda Dula. Nanda Dula Prabhu Nanda Dula.
Nanda Dula Prabhu Nanda Dula.
Rajinanda Dula Prabhu Nanda Dula. Nanda Dula Prabhu Nanda Dula.
Nanda Dula Prabhu Nanda Dula. Nanda Dula Prabhu Nanda Dula.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Rama Rama.
Rama Rama,
Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Jaya Radha Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Jaya Radha Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladeva Devi Subhadra. Jai Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan. Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Jaya Gauranita, Deshanita, Gauranita, Jai Gauranita.
Puranitai, Puranitai, Jaya Mora,
Jai Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, Jai Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev, Jai Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev. Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev. So this is Bhakti Dhira Damodara Swami. Ah, okay, yes. Yes. So you have to go there. If I, yes, if I go, you have to go. This is my land. And go to your friend. Okay, go.
Very difficult. About oh yeah, number be firework. MPN, I mean, yeah, that's not.
Like